Okay, so I am recording now. And let's see. So this is, you will see this in the Moodle on the Bethel University Moodle. And this is what I'm going to be using to grade your project presentation. Okay. And let's see who's here. So from group 1, I see Sarah. And I see John. And I see Lydia. So maybe to make better use of our time, we'll go ahead and have group 1 do their presentation. So group 1, did you send me your PowerPoint slide presentation? Sarah.
Yes,
yeah,
Doctor.
I saw it, Sarah. So I will project it and then just let me know if you want me to move the slide. So I'm going to, okay. And Joy is, okay. We just share my slide right now and I'm going to sound and optimize the video, share. And I'd like to be able to show the person's face. So let me. How do I do that? Oh, I think it's because I have to show my face there. And then I'll be able to show the video panel. There we go. Okay.
Doctor, the words faint, they are not easily read.
Oh, you wanted to, here. Can you see it now? I want to show it.
My side is still faint.
Say that again.
Okay, fine now.
Is it clear now or it's still blurry?
It's clear now.
Okay, good. I'm going to show. Okay, so the student who is speaking during the presentation, if you can turn on your video, and then I'm going to turn off my video. I don't know how to do that. Okay, Sarah. Okay, group 1, you may start now. The floor is all yours.
Thank you, Doctor. Good evening, everyone. I'm Sarah.
Sarah.
Yes, hi, John, John, Lydia, and Stella, and myself. We worked together to come up with this presentation. And our assigned group was the group of students who have joined degree program from secondary. So the direct entrance are the group of students we're going to be discussing about. So next slide. So we came up with our objectives today, which we are going to tackle as we discuss. And by the end of this discussion, we shall be able to describe the assigned population, describe the suitable theoretical or teaching philosophy, describe the selected teaching strategy which fits the student's population. Next. Yeah, so the students in today's nursing institutions represent a wide array of diversity in learning needs and expectations. This could be depending on where they are, which university they are, and their background, and their personalities. So we have to explore different teaching methods that to make sure we teach our students. And in our discussion, we are talking about the students who are directly coming from bachelor's to do bachelor's in nursing science right away from senior 6. Those we call the direct entrance. So we shall be discussing how can we able to teach these students such that they understand according to the category of the students they are. Yes, doctor. Next slide. So who are these students? As we describe them, they are generally young and they are energetic. And we put them in the category Y, the generation Y. And this generation describes them as they are active, they are exploring relationships, they are well conversant with the new technology, and they are industrious. So if we look at those young people, like all of us now we are mature, but when you look at those young people, you can reflect back to the universities where you teach and where you've seen them. These students are very, very active. I can remember at our undergraduate, we studied with some of them, and some of the classes were mixed, but we could never like it when we were mixed with these direct entrants because they want everything to move faster. As for us, we are trying to understand. For them, they want it faster so they can go and do other things. They are exploring new relationships. So while they are in class, they try to be, they are attentive to very many details. Like they have details of what they are putting on, the details of how they are speaking, how they twist their tongue, they put in accents. So they are trying to explore relationships. So as a teacher, you have to be aware of that, and you have to give them extra attention because that's what they seek. And they are conversant with the new technology. By the time you're teaching them and you're bringing in ideas, they have already tried to search on net. They have already tried to work on it even before you come. And you can even notice when you're teaching, for them, they have like they are on WhatsApp, they are on Facebook, they have their earpieces on. So if you don't also pay attention to those small, small details, you might even lose them in class because these students are going to be distracted while they are trying to search what you're teaching. Something else might pop up and it takes their attention. So as much as technology is good for them, as it can also distract them. So we need to pay attention to that. They are industrious. They want to explore a lot. So we also have to agree to that our students, as much as they are very active, they are very knowledgeable, they understand, and they'll be trying to explore a lot more than even what you're offering them. Next slide, Doctor. These students are young, and we looked at the age bracket. They are about 18 to 22 years. So they are all young in class, and what they don't behave like us adults. And though for you're teaching them, you might look older to them, but as you're teaching them, you have to be aware that they are young, and maybe sometimes you can even behave like them in order for them to listen to you. They are self-motivated. they don't have a lot to disturb them. Like for us adults, we could be studying and you have a baby, you have school fees to worry about, you have lots of worries on you, you have relatives bothering you. But these young people, they're self-motivated. All they have come for is school and maybe other things, but they don't have much to disturb them. They are intelligent. If we consider our country in Uganda, if you were to go for bachelor's in nursing science, you have to have had sciences. And you know what sciences means at A level? It's the bright who take them, and they have to have passed them at least with 2 principal passes. So these they are the intelligent ones who get selected for bachelor's in nursing science. Then they do not have any nursing experience. So when you're teaching them, you have to make sure you explain. Even if you're talking about a patient, they need to know who a patient is and how the patient is described as. So when we are teaching them, we don't rush through things as we've had experience, and small things don't mean much. I remember someone was trying to ask me a lot about a urethral catheter, and I tried to explain, but she was not understanding. I was like, "This is a catheter," because I have seen a catheter for so many years, and this young girl doesn't know. She's asking, "Won't it pierce the patient? Won't it hurt this and that? Won't it?" And so later I realized, yeah, they don't know anything about nursing. They have no experience. I have to go slow as I'm trying to explain what a catheter is. They are easily distracted. So when we are teaching them and we see them easily distracted, we don't get irritated by their distraction. Instead, we bring them back. We make sure they come back on the point we are on. They could be distracted by if someone's phone rang. Adults would understand, it's a phone, it rang by mistake. But young people can even take like 5 minutes laughing at a phone which has rang. They could be distracted by someone's dress code. We wouldn't mind if someone came dressed in any way, but for them, they would pay that attention that, oh, this person is dressed like this and that, and it can distract them for the whole session. So when we are teaching them, we have to also bear that in mind. They are young and they can easily get distracted. Next slide. Yeah, so as we are describing them, we look at their general appearance. They mind about their appearance. You will see them, they will be so smart. I can again reflect on when we are studying undergraduate. For us, we are mature, but those people were young. We would just put on anyhow. As long as you're decent enough, you go to class. But they would come very, very smart. So you would easily tell, this is a mature person, this is a direct entrant. They want to dress in an attractive way. However, we are lucky. At UCU, they mind much about the dress code. So for us at UCU, they couldn't be so indecent, but they would really want to be attractive. I've seen in other universities where nursing students are so like, when they put on you, you see them move, you're like, oh my God, is this a nurse? So they really want to attract. They prefer fun time with friends to class time. So when they are in class, if the class goes longer, it's boring for them. They want to have fun. They want to enjoy the session. So we would prefer making it shorter for them and allowing them some breaks for them to go and have fun. They will learn well by rewards. If you praise them maybe by word or by something, they can really learn well because they all want to at least get rewarded. We are talked about being easily distracted, and these young people work well in groups. When you give them group work, it will get done. because they want it done and then they go for something else. Yeah, next slide. So theoretical teaching, we prefer to use, they assigned to us behavior theory, which really applied so well with this group of students. And this behavior theory is learned over time. So when you're using this theory, then it has to take a bit of time. Reward plays a good stimulation for learning. Like we have mentioned that these students learn better by rewards. And this applies so well. The behavior theory tells us that rewards play a good stimulation. A change in behavior can be reinforced by the external environment. Yeah, true. As you look at the nursing students from each university, you can tell this is a student from Makerere, you can tell this is a student from UCU, because if the behavior theory shapes them into what you want them to be. And like, for example, I have worked with different health workers, and this time, allow me to use the doctors. We had, at our hospital, we had doctors from different areas, but we had one particular doctor who would pray, like every time he's going to do a surgery, he would pray. And later we got another one who never even minded, why should we pray? And then we found out it's where he trained from, that the surgeon who told him would pray for every surgery he was going to perform. So the same as when you use behavior theory, the behavior you put in your students, they are going to take it, and it's going to help in them being who they are once they reach in the field. So when we are training these young people and we are applying the behavior theory, we should be mindful that the behaviors we are teaching them will make them the future nurses you're teaching them to be. The faculty has to plan the structure for the students to facilitate their learning. So with this theory, the structure the faculty has is going to make a big contribution to the students' learning. It's not that they're exploring for themselves. They have a structure which is well put for them, and this is what they're going to follow, and this is their curriculum, this is what, and with a behavior theory, the students are going to follow whatever you have in plan for them. Next slide. Yeah, so the students have to follow the structured setting in order to learn, like I have already explained about that. The students have to follow the set objectives. So that objectives are already set for them. They are not going to set any objectives for themselves. The faculty has a role of rewarding the students. So if the faculty has some reward they give, yeah, that can be also good for them to learn. For example, when we were doing undergraduate, we had a lecturer who would reward us. Whenever you did well, he would next time come with a chocolate. So you'd say, oh, this did well in this assignment. I have a chocolate for you. So we kept feeling, oh, I have to do well because sister is going to come with chocolates. So this is one way of rewarding. We might not afford such as teachers, like you can't always come with chocolates, but for her, because she could afford, that one helped us so much to put more effort in whatever she was teaching us. The students will be used to the system which has been set for them. So when we are using this behavior theory, the students would then get used. They'll know this is the system, this is how the course is, this is how it's moving, and that's how they are going to take it. So whatever you've set for them, if you've set a good system for them, it's going to shape them so well, and they are going to learn better. So that's the theory will make you understand why they feel different between nurses from UCU, from Makerere, from other universities. So I think this behavioral theory is used in so many schools that we are able to know these nurses come from this area. Where we did internship from, they used to say, they used to fight for nurses from UCU. They would say, if our nurses from UCU have gone, because there is a way we behave, there is a way we did our work well, that some other students were not. So all the in charges would really recommend nurses from UCU that we are doing a good job. So I think the behavioral theory here has helped us to be like that. It has helped us to be identified as nurses from UCU. The behavior students have are due to where they have learned it from. So that is the work of the behavioral theory. Next slide. Yeah, so while we are using this theory, there are laws for both teacher and learner. And in order to apply very well the behavior theory, the teacher should do the following. They should prepare the learning content for the students. They should prepare the favorable environment, give the learners tasks and give rewards to the best outcomes, and give positive feedback to the learners. So the teacher has to make sure that their students learn so well by applying all this, preparing for them, rewarding them, and then you applying the behavior theory better. Next slide. Yeah, the words have gone faint again. I don't know why. Doctor, the words are faint. I can't read them. Okay, so now, yeah, it's clear now. Thank you so much. So the learners should also do the following. They can follow the faculty directions. They can adhere to the rules and regulations. They can use the behavioral objectives and guidelines set by the faculty, work hard to attain the tangible rewards, and work hard to meet the required performance. So once the students appreciate these and follow them, they can learn very well through the behavioral theory. Next. At this point, I will request John. John, you can now take over and discuss the next part. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sarah. Yes, thank you, Sarah. Sorry, I was I was traveling, but I've just reached home. Yeah, the advantages of behavioral theory include, yes, we said as team that these students have no experience, and if they have no experience, it helps them to become nurses and behave like the nurses do, simply because what their lecturer or a teacher will tell them is what they are going to follow. Then we also said that the other advantage is this type of students are very intelligent, and of course, if given clear instructions, they will be able to understand so easily. because these are direct students from senior 6, and majority of them are young and very fast thinkers.
Excuse me, John, can you turn on your video?
Oh, my video.
Yes, please. There you go. Hello.
Thank you, Doctor, and thank you, team. Yes, I don't know if you were hearing me or you need me to repeat a little.
You're great.
Oh, great. Thank you
look
so
great.
much.
And you look great and you sound great.
Yeah, so we were talking about the advantages of behavior theory for these BNS direct students. And as earlier on told you that these students, yes, have no experience. So it is easy for them to become nurses and behave like nurses based on what their teachers tell them. They easily follow instructions, and therefore they easily understand, because given the setting, these are students who are young, energetic, with no other added problems on them, either social or family issues or economic. They are being supported by their parents. So they can easily understand, nothing disrupts them either. So these students also can easily grasp the skills in nursing using this theory, because the procedures are well prepared, slowly, process by process. So if they are prepared, for example, maybe they are teaching them a procedure for hand washing, they can easily grasp the steps of hand washing so easily, given by their tutors, their teachers, and maybe their colleagues. They will also they are able to learn the skills and become that always determine and this will determine the type of nurses that they become in future. For example, as Sarah said that whenever the nurses from UCU were being appreciated by the in-charges, because their skills were good, they were able to learn so easily, and therefore grasp them, and therefore such nurses have been appreciated, because now they are the nurses of today. They're the people who are working, and they're the people who are transforming the skills onto the junior officers. So, Doctor, may we go ahead? Dr. Scroll? Yes. So, thank you so much, Doctor. What are the disadvantages of this behavior theory? For these students, we have already said that because it is well structured, this may also, these students are easily affected by what they observe. In any case, if these students for example, their teacher tells them, this is how you should wash hands. Believe me or not, these students are going to follow the same. And nursing keeps on evolving. It may be easily hard for these students to change with the changing skills, with the changing information that they are provided. I have just realized this with some nurses, where much information is brought out, and many of these nurses are hard to change simply because they followed what they were given in class. The other disadvantage of these students, this theory, is that the students will only depend on what they are given. So in other words, they are going to be spoon-fed, and what they are taught in class is what they will follow. They will not add on any other. They are not innovative students, because what their teacher gives them is what, or what they get in books is what they will follow. They don't want to be innovative. They want to research to find out more innovations. Yes, it minimizes student involvement in learning, because every time and then their teacher is spoon feeding them, and yet our population wants to explore. So this is very key. And the other disadvantage of this model, this theory, is that it does not allow students to bring in their new ideas. This is what we've already said, which affects their critical thinking. So consequently, in enhancing practice, there is need for critical thinking. Whether you are in leadership, whether you are in in practice, clinical practice, there is always need for critical thinking. Just look at our example of our setting. For us in Uganda, we are a developing country, and we are a resources-strained country. So you realize that you practice nursing with a lot of constraint. If you don't innovate, for example, you're most likely to get a lot of challenges. And yet, the teachers teach you what is ideal. It is completely different in the field. We have what we call ethical dilemmas in the field. So that is the problem with this type of theory, in as far as these direct students, the BNSs, are concerned. Doctor, may you scroll? I think others, my colleagues, are on. Yes. So yes, I want to say thank you for listening. I will call in my colleague, Lydia or Stella, if they're available. Yes, Lydia is on. And yes, actually, Stella, both of them are available. Lydia, may you take on from there? Lydia?
Okay, Lydia, you have to
Yes.
unmute yourself and turn on your video, please.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Doctor, may you please make the words more clear?
You may want to give it some time. Sometimes it takes a while for it to focus.
The words are not clear. May you please adjust? Hello. Okay. We are going ahead with our group presentation, and the next slide we see, we are looking at the strategies, teaching strategies we have to reinforce while dealing with this type of students. For this student population who are direct entrants to the university, we will select the following strategies while teaching them. We looked at a lecture method and a group discussion strategy. However, more emphasis with this type of students, we are going to reinforce group discussion. As we've seen earlier, they are easily distracted. So if you put them in a group, maybe they will focus, because their colleagues will keep on making them settle into the group, other than other strategies. So we shall discuss more on group discussion. While teaching these students, we shall reinforce the strategy of group discussion. So what are the advantages of this group discussion strategy? In the group discussion strategy, they meet in a group and the exchange of ideas. Since this is kind of it is kind of interpersonal. We have many colleagues. Many colleagues will be engaged in the group, and each one will be required to give in ideas during the discussion. So in that meeting, in that meeting of group discussion, they are required to everyone to bring in an idea during the group discussion. It is a strategy that helps them to critically think. As we've seen in Uganda here, when we as incoming teachers, we have to reinforce, we have to teach them how to critically think within this environment of Uganda. If we don't really teach our nurses how to critically think, because most of the things in the field, we just improvise. For example, nursing care, most of the nursing care we teach, of course they teach us, but in reality, everything is not done the way it's supposed to be done. So if we don't produce nurses who can critically think, then our patients will be missing out a lot. So in so doing, in them being in a group discussion, we shall encourage active engagement of the content. They will collaborate and cooperate during the discussion. So learning will take place in so doing. The disadvantage with this type of strategy is that students must possess adequate previous knowledge of adequate knowledge in order to be able to participate in the discussion. Of course, if you've not read, you are not, somebody cannot be able to present if you don't have prior knowledge on what to discuss about. So we have to encourage them in order to search prior to the discussion time or prior to the meeting, such that everyone is having knowledge on the topic which is going to be discussed. Next slide, Doctor. Hello. So I can call my colleague to begin from there. Stella, please. You can take over. I'm just glad that network has permitted me to be able to present this, but my network at home here is not the best. So my colleague can take over from there. Thank you.
So, okay, thank you so much. I'm failing to turn on the video. It's saying that my host has to turn it on for me. We are going, okay, start my video. It's a little small, but let me try. We are going to look at the peer-reviewed article to support discussion as a good strategy. According to Kessin, the discussion as a strategy of the learning improves active learning. Excuse me, Doctor, first add for me increase for me the size. Is it network? Oh. Hello?
Stella, you need to adjust it on your end. I think it's
are you people getting me?
Yeah, I think it's your laptop or your computer that's not projecting it, because this is, yeah.
I'm
Did you,
Yeah,
did
that
you
way.
have a copy of your PowerPoint slide?
Yes, it's
Okay.
on my phone. So the students have deep learning because they will try to read more in depth as they contribute to the discussion topic. Here we said, once a topic is given to these students, there is a way they will try to do their level best by trying to read hard so that they can get all the points that is required for them to discuss. We also said students try hard to defend their positions and build confidence. In this, once a topic is given to students to discuss upon, there is a way each student will try their level best to defend their position, and in that they'll be building confidence in their presentation as they are giving discussion points. Then we say the strategy also improves the students' cooperation. In most times when students are seated together as peers trying to do discussions, they tend to cooperate, and that cooperation doesn't just end there. That cooperation is carried in class, and at the end of it all, you find students are always together and helping each other to learn their discussions. We also said the students understand better the topic of discussion, in a sense that once they are carrying out these discussions in their discussion groups, there are some questions that a student will want to throw to a colleague for clarity before it's presented in class. In that, they will understand better the topic. By the time they are presenting it to their lecturers, almost each student in this was like you're seeing what we are doing here. Next slide. Then the rationale why this is a good teaching strategy for a science student population. We said, as we had described the teaching strategy and discussion and the teaching strategy, we said that it promotes active learning, and our students are young and active. This helps them to learn actively. As we see, once you put these young students into a discussion group, all of them will try to be active. Each one will at least try to make sure he or she mentions a point. And in that way, there'll be active learning. We also see these students them to search for more material for the discussion. As we normally see, when you give a topic to these students who are freshly from senior 6, most times they'll say, let us visit the Google. And in that way, they'll come up with the very ideas, because at least they're trying to search for deeper information that is beneficial for the discussion. These are young and intelligent, so they will study the given topic in depth and enhance understanding. As we said, these students who are from senior 6, they are not compared to some of us who are now at this age of ours. They grasp things very fast, they are knowledgeable, and one always want that they exhaust it very well, they make deep understanding for everyone. Next. Then we said, because of this, they identify relationship, they will all slides. Because of this, each student will always try to make sure he or she prepares for this discussion. Because as you also know, sometimes you're given a topic, and if you like try not to read
or to search more, and you're told to present, sometimes you get embarrassed because you'll have no idea on what you're presenting. So students will always make sure that they at least have an idea on what he or she is going to present. We said these students are busy wanting to go for social moments, so they will try to focus and finish the discussion in time. In the sense that once a topic is given to these students and they are given time in terms of time, they'll always try that they do it within the given period of time, so that it also sets them free to go and do whatever they do in their social life, since most of them in campus might be in social groups like maybe music or maybe charismatic programs. So they will always sit, do what they're supposed to do within the given period of time and move on for their social events. The information shared during students will easily be retained. This all tells us about the intelligence that these children have. Most of them, they do not have social problems. So whatever they read through, whatever they discuss, always gets retained in their long-term memory because they are fresh, I would say. Then the students who have joined university directly need deep learning. My phone. They need deep learning and understanding. Oh. Let me go on conclusion. We said direct entry students into nursing are young and inexperienced. So they really need to be made to understand why they're in nursing school, and the lecturer, they get the experience that they have come for in these various universities. Then they need active learning to be able to gain more knowledge and skills. And this active learning, we have seen that discussion is one way that we can make them become active and gain more knowledge at the same time. Then we said behavioral theory is good to help them to model into good nurses. Something that will always continue practicing as we look at the Pavlov's theory. So we encourage them to always do by practicing so that they can retain it and also carry out or implement it. Then the lecture method is useful for their learning, but group discussion helps them in deeper learning and understanding. We have here references. We got it from Carson H. Philip, H. Bruce M. 2014, comparing the benefits of small group and large class discussion. Journal of Political Science Education. And also from Diana M. in Nursing, a guide for faculty. That is 6th edition. Thank you.
Thank you, Stella. If there is anyone with questions, if anyone has questions, they can ask us.
No, it's just an appreciation. Thank you very much for the presentation. It was clear.
Thank you so much.
Clear and elaborate. Thank you.
Thank you, Isaac. Thank you so much.
I like the visuals, and your audio are very clear. And
Thank you, Doctor.
Very happy.
Thank you.
Good
Thank you so
teamwork.
much.
Okay, so in respect for time, I would like group 2 to go ahead and did you send me your PowerPoint slide, group 2? Who sent it to me?
Yes, Joy did.
Oh, I did. Okay, let me pull it out right now. me share sound. Okay.
Thank you, Doctor. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Damari.
Good evening.
This is group 2. We are presenting our final presentation for teaching and learning. And the group members are Joy Mirembe, Damari Nantare, Isaac Anwamanya. Doctor, we can go to the next slide. The roadmap in this presentation will describe the students in the comprehension from certificate level group, the cognitive learning theory, its advantages and disadvantages, reflection and its rationale as a teaching strategy. Yes, Doctor, we can go to the next slide. So when we are describing the students in the comprehension group, we are looking at students from certificate level, and their age range is between 22 years to 30 years. This group, they are all working and they have experience in the field of nursing. Most of them are married and have families, and they sponsor their own education. So as a faculty, you need to bear it in mind that you can really reach out to these students, and in case of any challenge, you can as well help them or guide them and always be there to support them where necessary. They belong to the Y and Z generation. Since most of them, we see that they were born between 80s and up to date. So they belong to the Y and Z generation. They both are technology savvy. They know a lot of technology. So when we are teaching them, we have to bear it in mind that they are really computer experts and they like researching a lot. The Y generations are optimistic. They are team-oriented, so they learn and they enjoy working as a team. They are high, they want to achieve. So once there is something which they are interested to achieve, they always follow the rules, like they will always follow what it takes to see that they achieve their goal. They are collaborative and comfortable with multitasking. They value doing rather than knowing. So when we are teaching them, we have to always involve them such that they are actively involved during learning. They live a highly structured life. I'm sorry, Doctor, the slide is not clear. The slide is not clear.
There might be a delay.
Okay, please.
I think it's trying to focus. How is it on for the other students? How does it look on your end? Because it's clear on my end.
Yeah, also my end is clear.
Yeah, it could be Damali, it could be on your computer.
Maybe she can change to phone. Can also do for her.
Yeah, is she not here? Oh, she's here. I see her.
But I would say
Yeah,
she
only that
used
the slide is not clear.
Are you looking at it from your computer or from your phone?
I'm using a computer.
Probably your computer's level of, you might want to use,
I'm
oh, go ahead, Isaac.
wondering if she cannot be able to continue, we can proceed the group members if it's okay.
Okay.
I think
So,
also she has a copy of the work from her computer. Maybe she can use that.
you can just use that. Yes, correct.
Yeah, I think, yeah, it's okay.
Okay, let me try to look out for the work and I continue.
Yeah, you can use an alternative, Damari.
let her try using her phone, because I also tried on computer. It wasn't clear until when I started on the phone.
The phone is very clear, Stella, very clear. So probably she can still opt for that.
Use the phone.
So we saw that they like the why, they are comfortable with multitasking. Then they value doing rather than knowing. And they live a highly structured life. So they are focused and want to excel. Then the Z generation, on the other hand, they are very proficient in the use of modern technology. So as a faculty, you can consider using technology while teaching this generation. They love working with handheld cellular devices and social media. They are very literate in computer skills, so we can teach them using computers. They are very fast at absorbing information and equally lose it instantly. So while teaching these students, we can consider recapping and also giving them like a revision to help them to retain information. They have a relatively short attention span, so we need to always be vigilant as we are teaching them and remind them. They learn better with visual aids. They study both in groups and individually. They love using internet. So in order to effectively teach this completion from certificate level group, the faculty must be creative, actively develop teaching strategies, regardless of their generation identification. Students can find them engaging and meaningful enough to sustain their active participation and engagement in the learning process. The Y and Z generations, both being technology savvy, provides a stimulating and exciting opportunity for the faculty to enhance classroom and online learning solutions. So we can use online to teach this category of students. This can be achieved through use of application of modern and emerging technological tools in order to bridge the generational gap to promote learning. So as the faculty, we need to be flexible and adapt to what can help learners to learn well. Thank you so much. Let me call upon Isaac to come and continue.
Okay, thank you very much, Damari, for the presentation. I am going to continue with the presentation from where she had stopped. So the theory that was given to us is a cognitive learning theory. We believe it is better for this group This learning theory focuses on the internal environment and mental structures of thinking. So it's about the mental structures. And according to Billings and Horsted, its roots are dated over 100 years ago, and it seeks to understand the role of mind in learning. So it's about the mind, the use of the mind in learning, and it's been used for quite a while. Let's continue. This is a group of the German psychologists who believe that people respond better to wholes than to parts, and that they have a basic need to have order, and they like to seek for explanations. So in other words, these students have active roles to play in this in this theory. And it involves processing of information using different aspects of memory. So like we have said, it involves use of the mind. So they have to use very many aspects of memory. It focuses on acquisition of knowledge as opposed to just behavior. Let's continue. So students have to gain knowledge as they use this theory. It seeks to make a meaning of what is already known to what is being learned. So they build on their previous learning, and it focuses on mental processes like we had said. And learning here is developmental and is an active process which involves assimilation. Assimilation is a process of taking in fully understanding information or ideas. So they assimilate, they take in information and then they understand it fully. Accommodation and constructivism. Constructivism here is knowledge is constructed. So they add on from their previous to the new learning that they have acquired. Thank you. Continue. So we see advanced processes in terms of frameworks. They can be verbal, written, or visual. So they can use all these in order to enhance their learning. Meaningful learning as opposed to remote learning. So in other words, it's meaningful. They are getting new information rather than just passively receiving information. And this theory, it focuses on and emphasizes the mental processes and knowledge structures that can be inferred from behavioral indices. So like we have said over and over, it's about the mental processes. Let's continue. Okay. The conditions of learning influence meaningful acquisition of new ideas by modifying the existing cognitive structure. So these students, right away from certificate, from diploma, they've been gaining knowledge. So now in this theory, we see that you have to provide students with better conditions so that they can acquire new ideas and they modify the ones they had before. So behavior is not automatically strengthened by reinforcers, rather reinforcers provide effective and instructional information. So rewards or reinforcers that you give, they just only add on helping to get the instructional information. Their teaching can take place both formally and informal. Okay, so we can use this. So what they can do, how they can apply this theory is through journaling. They can make journals, concept mapping, problem-based learning. Problem-based learning is they get a problem and learn from it. They can make case studies. You can as well use it in online education, just like we are doing. And so the role of a teacher is to design an active, a constructive, and goal-directed learning environment. So we need to ensure these students are actively engaged. We have to be very innovative as teachers so that we can create an active and constructive environment. It facilitates learning by relating new things to what students already know. So try and relate to what they already know. Allow them to reflect, think, examine assumptions, assess what they have learned. Like we have said, give them case studies, let them think a lot. And again, these learners have to be changed by modeling. So as a teacher, you have to be a very good example to them. Let's continue. So iterates learning to new learning to what the learners are familiar with, examples to link to new to old knowledge. So that's what I was saying. You need to be very innovative. Think of which examples you can use to link them to the old knowledge they already have. Creatively summarize the content that you have. Don't give them too much, just summarize it. They will understand it. And the student has to take on an active role. They have to be very active and get involved. And the students, like we've said, they are in control of their own learning. Let's continue. So students have to concentrate. Yeah, it takes a lot of students have really to put in their time and concentrate so that they learn. Otherwise, they won't learn. They should reflect, think, examine assumptions, assess what is being taught. Yes, and also relate to what they have already learned before. And students have to be in control of their own learning. Give them time to reflect, give them time to think, to examine all these assumptions. Okay, let's continue. So these are the advantages. It gives students an opportunity to actively participate in their own learning, which is good. It also helps them to retain concepts and relationships because they have worked enough on them. Provide some direction to the faculty. The faculty will get to know how far the students have reached in acquisition of knowledge. Faculty puts emphasis on helping students how to think. So you don't have to do a lot, but help them correct where they go wrong, just bring them back. Make sure their thinking is right. Faculty have the opportunity to help students gain knowledge and achieve it by providing ways for short-term learning to become long-term. So like we said, you have to be very innovative, help them to make sure to change their short-term learning into long-term. Let's continue. Students own their own learning because they are making a lot of reflection, and it also helps them to recall old knowledge and also use their old contexts to build new information. So they keep going back and forth. New information, they use the old knowledge to build onto the new information, and it allows time and flexibility for the learner to experience and make new meaning. Let's continue. These are the disadvantages as I finish. It poses a task to the faculty to give up control over learning in order to allow students to be actively engaged. So as a faculty, you have to allow students to innovate, to be innovative. Give up some prepared content in order for students to learn more details about a given topic. So you entrust them that they can really get something for themselves. And because the faculty are not in control of their learning, the traditional faculty may judge them as incompetent. So the seniors may think as a faculty, you don't know much. So you may have to deal with it as well, but it's expected in this theory. Continue. And lastly, as students progress, they might also judge the faculty as incompetent because he was not in control of their learning, but it is always for their own good. So we have to allow it to happen, but as well, make sure we also put in a lot of effort in their learning. Thank you very much. Joy can take over. Thank you.
Thank you, Isaac. Are you seeing me? I can't see myself. Hello.
Yes, we are seeing you. Please continue.
Hello, class. Are you hearing me?
Yes, Joy, we can hear you well.
Okay, thank you. It has become blurred. Okay, now it's clear. So we are looking at reflection as a teaching strategy for this group that we are handling. The past experience and connecting it to the concepts in class to find meaning. I think it's self-explanatory. It is remembering what we have gone through and then relating it being told so we can understand. That is according to Dr. Marife. Then reflection is a very important human activity which involves revisiting our experience, pondering about it, and evaluating it. That is according to those authors, 2019. Yeah, it is just as I've said, it is generally remembering what we've been through and then evaluating it and relating to what we have being taught, then making meaning. So a faculty can utilize it by asking questions such as why and what. That is like to help someone remember what they went through. Then looking at the successful and unsuccessful aspects of the experience, students and as unsuccessful aspects of the experience, the students are able. Doctor, maybe I can use my slides. I don't know. I can't focus very well. Hello.
Yes, Joy.
Hello.
Joy, we
I
can hear
can't
you.
see like the words very.
I think it's okay to use your slides, Joy. We shall still follow.
I can use my slides, right?
Yeah, you can use an
Okay,
alternative,
I'm
Joy.
sorry about that. Let me get them.
It's okay.
I'm just looking for the slide we were on.
Okay,
Yeah.
I think I have slide 25. Did you want me to go back to slide 24? That's slide 24.
I was still reading slide 24, but I have got mine. Maybe you can keep projecting for the class so that I don't delay. Thank you. So I was saying a faculty can utilize it by asking questions, then looking at the unsuccessful and successful aspects of the experience, they are able to learn deeply, to keep the learning into the long-term memory. Then reflection is a valuable teaching strategy that can result into considerable high levels of learning because it involves you remembering what was already learned. The next slide. According to those authors, various academicians anonymously propose that using reflection as a teaching strategy is undeniably important for effective instruction. Like, especially if you're teaching a group like ours that have already experience, when they learn from the experience, it is the best way to learn. And using reflection as a teaching strategy helps faculty and faculty educators to understand how they use their knowledge in classroom settings and how to combine theory and practical in an effective manner. Because we are trying to learn from experience and what we did well and what we didn't do well, we are able to connect the practical into the theory and then improve. The next slide. In general, that's according to Gupta, Mishra, and Shiri. The approach of reflection facilitates motivation and also confidence and interest in learning. When someone has already remembered what the experience they had, and then they have been taught maybe something they didn't know. It motivates them and builds confidence in them, and they have interest in learning more about whatever has been taught. Then the next slide. Reasons, the rationale for reflection for our group. It helps students to develop greater self-awareness. That is, they are able to identify gaps and the areas of improvement in their learning, because as they try to remember how they did as maybe a certain procedure, how they performed it, or how they have been carrying it out, and how they have been taught, and the rationale that is added on what is being taught, they are able to improve. They are able to know where they have gaps and what they have not been doing well. So it enables the student to link concepts to reality because they already have the experience. So whatever is being taught theoretically can be linked to what they do usually in practicals and what they will do. Then it also promotes new learning from past experience. I think I've really talked about that already. Can go to the next slide. We are still continuing with the rationale for reflection as a teaching strategy. It is helpful for teaching students to be long life learners. Just as we've seen before, that it helps us students to learn deeply because they are already building on what they already have. So they cannot forget because they are continuing to ground what they already have. So they become long life learners. Then it allows students to think critically and learn from past experience, just as I've said it over and again, that they keep remembering what they've been through, what they did well and what they didn't do well, and then thinking, by the way, how would I have done it better? By the way, how come I didn't think like this and that? And that helps them to learn from the past experience. Then reflection also allows students to construct new knowledge and apply it to new experiences. So as they build on the old knowledge, they get new knowledge and they get a new way of doing certain things. And even when they are faced with maybe things that are new, they can apply that knowledge that they learned. And then, yeah, we see them performing. I think just as you can see that picture, this person is trying to learn this concept of this thing and then trying to reason it out. So it helps students to think critically. Then in our conclusion, we said that teaching a completion group from certificate level can be such an interesting experience because it involves more than one generation. We've already seen that our group contains the Z and Y generations who have different approaches to learning. So it is really an interesting experience because you have to make everyone understand. That means as their teacher, you have to be extremely flexible and creative in all ways to ensure that they enjoy their learning, they get involved, and they can be able to all make meaning out of whatever is being taught. We've already seen in the first slides as Damari was presenting that you need to be creative in every way and make sure that everyone is learning and they make meaning of whatever is being taught. I don't know if we are still together. That was our conclusion. I don't know if any of us has any questions about our presentations. You can please raise it up.
Maybe if any student learned anything from this presentation, can also give us just maybe like one comment. Thank you.
Maybe I can comment on your presentation. It was a nice presentation. Apart from at the beginning, I failed to understand. Are we together or my network is poor?
We can get you.
So,
yes, at the beginning, the certificate level of people you're talking about, the age I fail to understand the age of people who were born in 1980 and up to date. And we still have
I can answer that. Let me
people who
answer.
were born.
So we are looking at the completion group. These are people certificate level who have come to diploma level. So we are seeing that these learners like they've been working, and why we are categorizing, I was just giving an example like the Y generation. I was giving a category of people who belong to the Y generation. Like these are people who are born from 1980 to 1995. So this age bracket of the Y, like the ones who are 30 years or between 22 and 30, they belong to that. Some of them belong to the Y generation. Then others belong to the Z generation. So that is it. I know the ones of 1980 are like 40 years, but we gave a range of 22 to 30 years.
Yes,
so
some
they are
people start when they are still
holders
young.
who have come to diploma level. That is it.
So group 2, would you like me to continue with the next slides? Because it looks like you have a question for the audience.
Yes. Isaac, help me take over a little bit, please.
It looks like, are these questions for your audience? So from group 2, so they're asking group 1 and group 3, what was their assigned group of students?
Yeah,
Doctor, we didn't understand what you're saying. You're asking what?
Can you see the screen? Maybe you can raise your hand, and so I know which one who's like to speak. So the group 2 is asking group 1 and group 3, what was their assigned group of students?
Yes, doctor.
Isaac has your hand up. Go ahead.
Oh yes. According to the grading rubric, there was time for asking some questions. So that is why we had a set of a few questions to the students. But they can just answer like one. It is still okay. Maybe we can ask question 3. What, according to the explanation we were giving about cognitive theory, how do they look at it being fit to be used in this group of students? Thank you. Anyone can answer question 3.
Yes, Isaac, I can answer this. This cognitive type of theory is good for this particular group of completion, simply because they are not learning from scratch. You have already looked at their advantages, and the advantages are very self-explanatory. These people are critical thinkers, but at the same time, they are learning from experience. So therefore, such a type of theory would apply, unlike the behavior or any other modality of theory. I thank you.
Okay, thank you, John. And
Thank you, John, very much.
Thank you, group 2.
I am sorry about the interruption. Yes. Yeah. So I think we have the references. Doctor, you have them.
Yes.
Maybe.
Let me,
Yes.
Here, can you all see it?
Yes.
The references.
Yes, we can see.
The references.
Group 2 has a special message
Yes.
for all of you. I like that. That's cute. Okay. Thank you, group 2. Hold on, let me figure out how to get out of here. Okay, there you go. Okay. Yeah, great visuals, as well as group 1 have great visuals. great explanation. I think cognitive theory is complicated. The combination of cognitive and behavioral is really powerful. So that's what we use for counseling, you know, with the counseling therapy, cognitive behavioral, because it's go hand in hand. But I don't want to take time out from group 3, so I'm going to pull out group 3's. And I think Jennifer is the one who sent it. Okay, so I think that for certain ones, your laptop does not have strong or maybe a low I forgot what's the term. So then it would project a clearer one. So sometimes you have to how would I say this? You have to allow the system to focus. Because a lot of times the reason why it's blurry is because it hasn't focused really good. Okay, let me set up group 3 here. Okay. Okay, is Lloyd going to be first?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Go ahead.
Dr.
You have the floor.
Yes, but go ahead, and the font is too small.
I don't know how to adjust that on my end. I think what other students are suggesting is when you are looking at the projection for the Zoom, to look at it on the phone, but use your laptop to follow the whatever I'm showing on the screen. So we're on the same page. Yeah.
That is fine, Doctor.
Okay.
Thank you, but there it's a bit clear.
Good.
I think we can continue that. Okay, good evening, my colleagues. This is group 3 presenting. Doctor, the video, they are telling me you have, the server has to connect the host. Yeah. So thank you so much. This is group 3 presenting, and this is Loy Namasule. We are with Msinguzi, Alexi, and Aloyoto Jennifer. Next slide. So these are our objectives. By the end of this session, we should be able to describe the degree completion. That was our category of the learners that we were given to discuss. We should be able to describe the theoretical teaching framework, stroke philosophy. We shall be able to describe the advantages and disadvantages of the theoretical framework for the degree completion students, and then select a teaching strategy for the degree completion group. Provide the theory for research-based information. That one would be to support the teaching strategy, and then the rationale for the teaching strategy. Let's continue. Thank you so much. So our category was describing the completion, that degree completion group. And this was a discussion. The degree completion is normally, these are experienced students who are already in practice, like we are doing. They can start from enrolled nursing, the basic registered nurses and the midwives, or they can start from enrollment registered as in Uganda. Most of them are aged 30 to 50, because you see, depending on each and every person, the way we come back to school differs. So in different age groups, you see this degree completion group.
according to the discussion, we realized that some of this, the degree completion group, we see that there are more females. The ratio of female to males, you find more females in class compared to male. Maybe I would give an example of this recent class. You find that the ladies are like 8 and we only having, they are like 7 and we only having few males in the class. So that's a good example that we can give. Then majority of them belong to generation X and Y, like the previous discussants. They really showed us what happened in Y and what happened in Z. Now, according to this age group, this is the majority. The majority of these students come from X and Y. Damari has really explained to us, this is no different from the discussion in the degree completion. So they have a diversity of education contents. They have ability to knowledge, to technology, or searching for jobs. When you look at this degree completion, they are diverse. They know, they have knowledge on technology. They can search for jobs. They can use computers. They can use technology to search for each and everything that they want in order to enhance their education. Then they love education, so they keep on adding qualifications. This degree completion group, this is the good example, this class. Some of us have started from certificate, but you reach that certificate, you feel it's not enough, you go for a diploma. You get your diploma, you feel it's not enough, you add on, so they keep on adding qualifications. This is the degree completion group. Let's continue. So most of these people grew up with their parents because we are seeing them coming from that childhood. When they enrolled, they went for diploma. They went for up to where they are completing. They grew up with their parents. They are optimistic and confident in their ability because they are experienced. They have all the abilities. They believe in themselves. So when they are doing something, they are confident in their abilities. They believe in authority at all levels, be it class, be it school, be it their parents. They believe in authority. So their expectations are high. For example, better pay or salaries, especially right now in Uganda, nurses have been fighting for their rights. Now that they have got their bachelors, what are their entitlements? So for this group, they look for better payments. So they feel pressured in order to perform because they are managers. They have lots of things around them. They are managers, so they feel pressured in order to perform. Without pressure, sometimes they are reluctant, but because they are managers, all the time they feel they have to complete their tasks. They love teamwork. They work together all the time because they experienced, everyone shares their experience. So they love teamwork. This group concentrates for a short while because it's a group with lots of things which are attached to them. So they concentrate for a short while and then they are again looking at something else. So they are also multitasking. They have lots of tasks around them. They don't do one thing at a go, but they are teaching, some are in practice, they're having families, they have to work. So they have lots of things around them. Next. This group of completion, they love graphics and visual objects because something that you've seen, sometimes don't forget. So they love graphics and visual objects. They are computer illiterates. We have seen them. They use a lot of technology because they are well versed with the laptops. They are well versed with the computer. They can use internet to get each and everything that they want. So the illiterates, at least they have knowledge on how to manipulate the machines. Diverse of cultural backgrounds. Of course, when we come together, there are different people coming from different cultural ethnic groups. So there is that diversity. The background on culture, it's wide. They have family experience, they grown up with a lot of experiences working, and sometimes they care for their families, including parents. We are looking at degree completion. These are people who are working. They have responsibilities. Some are married, some have children. They have lots of things, experiences around that. They have seen a lot. They take care of their families because they expect a lot from them. They have dependents. So this is the degree completion that we are discussing. The experiences they have has made them stronger enough to look after the families, their parents, and other dependents. We talked about they have respect for authority in their families, their schools, the government, and their peers. They respected them. They're expectant about the learning, and teachers or learners themselves. So they expect a lot when they are learning. They care about the community in provision of services, because we have said they're experienced. They are working in the community. Their aim is to provide services to the community and the people around them so that they can improve their well-being, and they can provide services down to the community and the individuals or the patients to improve their outcome. Let's continue. Let me invite Alex, can take us through the theory of adult learning theory, which is the theory we have chosen or that is fit for this. Thank you so much.
Alex. Hello, is Alex there?
Yeah, I'm there. I don't know if everyone is seeing me. Yes, I'm going to take over from Loy from adult learning theory. And by looking at what we have been talking about, is that it was developed by, I'll talk about history about by Knowles in around 1968, although it's not on our slide. And this theory is applied to adults who are experienced, since they are always in practice. We have been seeing the age group, and then they prefer different learning styles. They are always, when you see our group, I think that because we are talking about ourselves in nature. I think if the network is poor and I fail to continue because of the network, one of our members will continue, but I think you're listening to me. And connected and supportive to each other in the education. When they start up something, they're always connected, they always look for each other, and they always drive each other to a certain destination. And individual responsibilities, they have individual responsibilities in all their life. So that's how they are. And maybe you can put up the next slide, Dr. Mary, and we continue with the next slide. So I've been talking about them, and their educational components is there. The three components of Hoggies in 2005: reflection to their experiences in relation to what they are being learned. They have connections. They connect between all scenarios that happen. Resilience, the ability to respond to stress. I think how they are as they grow, as we grow older, we try to shift from being dependent and we become more independent, and therefore we prefer to learn changes, and then we need to do things that we can do ourselves. And they learn from experience. They have knowledge. They can have references from their past experience. This group of people are always ready to learn. Whenever they start to do something in terms of learning, they develop and direct towards growth and development related to their work. Someone will be capable to reflect on what he has been doing and then start up, and is always ready to learn. These adults have actually been, they have their orientation in their learning capabilities. They always see at their skills to solve the problems and work better. This type of people have motivation on their own. I'm trying to talk about this age group and the adult theory. They have their motivation, they are motivated self inside themselves. And then they always tend to deliver whatever they start and to learn whatever they are taught. And maybe to add more on that, they are good at memorizing whatever they have been taught, this age group. And with that adult learning, they always learn, memorize, and are able to give it in the right way when asked. And I think we go to the next step. The advantages of this type of theory is that they are result oriented. As I've said, they always want to know their results. Their results, because whenever they start up something, they always want to see the feedback. So the framework caters for all students. It gives for learners on different learning style. They share knowledge from past experience. They learn at their own pace. I think all of us here are learning at their own pace, although some professors and doctors will try us to make us quick in learning, but most of us tend to learn at one paces. You find that things have left you, but you try to catch up because of this age group and the theory they try to learn. I'm having faint screen, but I can use my other thing. The learner gains confidence and competency. They always get the confidence and competency because of the age group and the type of the theory they are using to learn. And it encourages learners to engage in formal and informal learning settings. I don't know, my network is becoming poor, if you're getting me, and even my computer is faint. But if you're hearing me, I will continue.
We can hear you, Alex, loud and clear, but I need you to focus on your slides.
Okay.
You're talking, but then I
Okay.
follow it from the slides. So keep it in the minimum because you still have other members who have to present.
And I'm continuing on the advantages, and this type of learning theory covers a wide range of learners. Yes, you have given me the next slide. Cultural, educational, and information sharing is always paramount in this type of learning theory. We can go to the next slide. The disadvantages of this slide. It is ineffective to some students in the team. Being ineffective is that some students may have a few experiences. Some students may have and may not be able to cope up with others in this type of learning theory. Then there is another, evaluating adult learning is hard. Yes, evaluating adult learning is hard in a way that an adult is very hard to despise or tell people that whatever you're telling others is wrong. So you find evaluating, giving marks to an adult becomes too hard for the teacher or for someone evaluating him. And they have individual responsibilities and life situation that will disrupt the learners. You find that every learner, the way we are here, everyone has life situations and therefore it becomes a problem. It becomes a problem to the learners. Yes, I'm listening, I'm getting the information. Majority of the outcome of adult learning is in measuring someone's past experience. Yeah, they are meaning that if someone is learning through experience, it will be hard for someone evaluating him to know what this person has experienced and therefore be able to present at a certain presentation. Then motivating adults is very difficult because they are driven by their own goals. Now it's like the way we are about 10 in class or 11. Now if we are to award, to motivate people to be in class, it will be so hard and so difficult for everyone to be happy. Someone can present a suite and then the adult learner feels the suite is useless. He might need a Benz or a car or a house, but these adult learners are very hard to motivate. I think I'll call up our next presenter to continue with the rest of the presentation. Thank you very much. Our next presenter.
Yes. Hello.
Yes, Jennifer, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
My videos. Are you able to see me? Can you see me?
Yes,
you see me?
I can see you now. You're wearing purple.
Can you? Okay. Colleagues, are you hearing me?
Jennifer, go on.
Okay. Yes, we thank you, Aloy and Alex. If we to continue, we decided to pick this information, and this research information. It was a research that was done by a Chinese research education. Into our strategy, we see to support our our teaching strategy. It was our strategy is supported by a review article for teaching strategies, which was by Zhu, that is the surname, and it was in 2016. This review paper provided the research-based information. There were about 10 teaching strategies, and in these 10 teaching strategies, we identified for our group degree completion that it's the best that would pick out would be the problem-based learning. Since these are colleagues who are ready, these are colleagues who are already on ground, that we've had already that have been practicing. They've been practicing and they already know what to do, and they normally very good at problem solving, because they were driven probably to come back to school because of issues of problems. So we identified this, we picked up the strategy as problem-based learning would be the best. The next slide, please. This method, besides, uses the patient situation, which it stimulates these students' problems to find out how to solve these problems. And you as an educator, normally, you have to be really, really realistic. Like when you're presenting your patient scenarios, make sure that it's a real problem, that they're able to see that this is really a real problem. And you also ask questions, and it also requires students to search for holistic answers. And because they're live situations. Then the instructor or you, the teacher, you have to manage the discussion process, because sometimes, with adult learning, normally we know, just as all of us in this group, of course, we are already adults. If you to leave it or everybody to discuss, the class can become messy. So you as a teacher, you have to manage the discussion process and really make sure that the class is in order, and also give them positive feedback to encourage them, because if you're always negative and you rebuke them, they will lose it out. And also you try to summarize to make sure that the class moves on in the rightful direction. Problem-based learning, it's really the complex problems that associated, sorry, I'm using my phone, that has broad association with basic science and clinical experience. By this is when you're bringing up these problem-based, bring up complex questions that will help the learner to be able to interpret it and use that critical thinking to get answers. And now the rationale for this problem-based learning, we say that it's self-directed. So it's learning, and also it helps an individual to do a self-appraisal, check yourself, and you're able to say, have I really done it well or not done it well? Then also it also encourages clinical problem. Sorry, doctor, are you hearing me now?
Yes, I can hear you on mine, but there are portions of your presentation that's breaking up. But please continue. Please continue, and then we'll just have the other students ask question at the end of your group presentation.
Okay, please. Okay, please. Let me finish up. We say this problem, the rationale for problem-based learning, it encourages active learning, self-directed learning, self-appraisals, where an individual is able to reflect, have I performed or not performed? Then also it encourages clinical problem-solving skills, and which is really, really vital when you look at our nursing. We need to really be able to solve, these problems, especially what is on ground. Then also it really, really helps in team building. It encourages team building, and because on ground, it helps these students to really work as a team, which is very important. And also there's a way it brings out people to be more disciplined. They are really it grooms up students to be more disciplined. And there is integration of information. Normally they join up information, and it helps, encourages that. Next slide. Next slide. Yes, we say that disadvantages of problem-based learning, it's really sometimes there's a lot of time that you have to put in, and then students sometimes, those who are not so much interested into learning, they tend to, because of teamwork, tend to be off and they leave the other friends to do the work. And then sometimes when it comes to the clinical setting bit of it, patients who are busy, sometimes it's a bit convenient for them. For the learners to... Next slide. Next slide, please. Next slide. So, yes, this is the time for question and answers, and then we have our references too. Thank you very much. That was a presentation from the end of our this.
Thank
That
you.
was the end of our this.
Yeah. Thank you, Jennifer, Alex, and Roy. So group one and group two, do you have any questions for group three?
Yeah, Doctor, just an appreciation to them. It has been really a very good presentation. Just like what I put on chat, in most cases, this group, the disadvantage with it is there is minimal competition here in this group of completion, and many of the participants are neither bothered because they're already working. They have jobs, so therefore they put in little to ensure that what they have come for is to attain perhaps the degree, to complete their studies, to attain a paper, period. So that's the challenge with this group of participants.
Yeah.
Thank you, Doctor.
Yeah, thank you, John.
Thank you.
I just wanted to let everybody know that I have allotted your presentation until 9 o'clock, which is 11 o'clock my time. So I actually have a meeting right now that's going on, and I'm already 15 minutes late. So what I wanted to do is just briefly let you know that I'm very pleased and very happy with all of your presentations, and that everyone were professional in your presentation. And I will definitely provide individual groups feedback on your grading rubric. And I want to thank you, all of you, for your diligence and for your efforts for presenting today. And we are halfway around the world apart from each other. I think we're 13 hours difference or 16 hours, almost half a day difference. So I truly appreciate everyone's effort with your presentation today. I heard that it's raining hard there. It's like rain's pouring. So I had experienced that when I was there, because UCU campus sits on a forest, right? So when it rains, it pours, like it's never gonna stop, like the water keeps coming out. So I just wanted to say that I'm still I have not started grading your final exam, your final paper, and then now I'm going to be grading your final project presentation. But so far, everyone is doing really great. Please watch out for my feedback for your papers, and if you need to redo it or add some more or resubmit it, I will let you know. I have to get to my meeting because I'm already 15 minutes late, but I wanted to thank you. So I wanted to say a brief prayer for us. We didn't have a chance to somebody made an example about a doctor praying before surgery, and right there I said, oh my gosh, we forgot to do our prayer, but nevertheless you all did a great job. So I wanted to be the one to say these prayers. I'm going to stop my video and just so you can just hear my prayer. So Lord Jesus, thank you for this opportunity for us to get together and really wrap up our class, teaching and learning. And thank you, Lord, for allowing us to have the technology to still connect thousands of miles away, well, millions of miles away probably, from each other. And bless every student here present and those who are not able to join us. Bless them, watch over them, give them courage and motivation to continue on with the program. Help them to help each other. And also thank you, Lord, for your blessings, your financial blessings, your blessing for our health that we'll be able to do about with our daily chores, our daily activities, our daily responsibilities. And we thank you for this responsibility that you put upon us to continue our learning. And may we look forward to being great teachers, continue to be good teachers to our learners. And again, thank you, Lord, for this time and for your blessings and for the opportunity for the provisions that you have afforded us. And we pray all this in Jesus' name, amen. So,
Amen.
Amen, Doctor.
this is our
Thank
last
you for
class. And I hope to see you all next year because Dr. Karen already told me that they're going to send for me. So I hope to see you.
Oh, wow, that will
Thank
be
you very
great.
much.
Thank you
Okay.
for the wonderful prayer.
Aloha, everyone.
Hello.
Aloha.